I'm Elwirfy, and today we're playing some more Napoleon Total War 3. Today we're going to be playing a giant 4v4 here. I, of course, will be playing the 1812 United Kingdom, the English. You expect, I mean, you know, are you really surprised? England is still my best faction on record for Napoleon Total War. So, of course, you know, gotta bring England. Why not? This is the version of England that invades the United States in the 1812 battle. Really, really exciting. Now, so after that last game with Tommy Robinson, he decided he actually really liked. He talked to me and stuff. We've been chatting, and he decided he wanted to play a game with me. So he's back with the Russians again from 1807, and then we have one of them. I'm so sorry about your names, guys. I do believe. You know what? I honestly, because I don't want to mess it up, because everyone was talking. So all four of us. So fun fact about this game: all four of us were in the Discord. The Austrian player is the one. Austria and Russia are the ones who I talked to the most, obviously, because they were on my flank. And then we also had the Prussian player, and you'll see him at the end. So don't worry. I'm going to give credit to everyone. Everyone's names at the end. Don't worry. It'll be fine. And then we have Prussia over here. So we have the Austrians and the Russians in the middle. I'll be on the right flank, and then the Prussians will be on the left. So this game's a little more interesting. Last time you just saw us doing a traditional Napoleon Total War battle. In this one, there's goals and there's capture points. See how there's this building up here, which is worth 1 point. We also, on our side of the battlefield, have another building that's worth 1 point. So, very, very typical. Over here on my opponent's side, there's a 1 point building right here, situated at this river. Oh, and our opponents are France. They're just going to be France, and Westphalen again. So very thematic, I assume. And as you can see here, we have the general there. So there's a 4 point building right here, though. So the enemies start off with a closer 4 point building. Our 4 point building for our side is in this stronghold here. And then there's a 2 point area center in the town. The town, of course, being very crucial. So if you guys can do the math, you have a 2 pointer and a 6 pointer. So that means the enemies, in order to even draw, they would need to get a 1 point building from our back lines if we hold these 2 points. Right? So that's our thinking. So we're thinking, okay, our forces will invade the center. We'll just rush it. Because, of course, as you know, troops who are on the roads walk faster, and I'm going to be jumping all over this map, guys. Camera movement will not be perfect. I'm going to hit play now, so that way it's a little less laggy. Although it is still laggy for me, for my computer to look at this. So you can just check out the scope of it. I can't zoom in, though, for the sake of my computer surviving. So apologies beforehand. And over here on my side, as you can see, I got my British troops. They weren't all marching on the road, so I tried my best to reorganize them on the road. Once again, I wanted my troops moving up fairly quickly. I'm zooming on my own men. But as you can see, the British looking as awesome as ever. A lot more troops. In the red coats, a lot more variety of troops. Look out these guys. I actually have some French Canadian, right? So we have a contingent of non-British troops, all of course helping out, and then incorporated militia. A lot of the British troops, unlike the American troops that you saw in the previous battle, the British troops can form square a lot easier, which is much more useful when going up against cavalry, of course. So that's all well and good. Of course, as usual in Napoleon Total War 3, we cannot see the position of the enemies. But fun fact: if you get really close, this glitch still applies. You can actually listen, and I actually did this a lot in the battle, just to listen to see. And I looked on my mini map on the top right to see about where the enemy troops were while marching, and I realized, if you can hear the subtle marching, that they were about here. So I realized, okay, we're going to get to that river beforehand. Again, of course, over here we have the majority of the center forces pushing up in the middle, with, of course, the Austrian cavalry, those Uhlans, moving up, and Prussia on the right here. There's going to be a lot. This battle's obviously not actually even longer than the first battle, because it's still just an hour, even though there's more troops, which is good, which is really good. I like that a lot, actually. So you see the cavalry moving up here, getting the scouting off. Sorry. We do have some French cavalry who are moving around the side, and we get to see also some Westphalen cavalry moving over here. So very good. Again, my opponent will be Westphalen again. except now I'm the British. So hopefully that'll be a little more interesting for you guys to see. I don't really know what to tell you. So this is also a thematic battle. So our groups right here, the British, Austrians, the Russians, and the Prussians, they are called the coalition of nations. So they're going to be the coalition force fighting the French Empire. And uh-oh, my mouse is glitching out. I apologize for that. What the hell happened? So it's going to be a French force, 3 French players, and Westphalen is actually like a sub-state of France. So they're essentially a smaller group of French. And I have my 2 troops here. Again, very small units of cav. I wanted to go with pretty cheap cav because I wanted the bulk of my army to be in infantry. You'll notice there's no artillery here, and I only brought 2 horses. That's because I wanted my infantry to do the brunt of the fighting, because I looked at my last battle and realized I didn't use my cavalry all that effectively, and I didn't use my cannons at all. So I figured, if I'm not going to use my cannons, why bring cannons? I don't need cannons to win a battle. I just need good, solid infantry. And I even push my troops up. It's kind of scaring them off, because my cavalry is in fact faster than his cavalry. But then I decided, you know what, let's turn it around and let's run away here. No reason to push, and I didn't want to be shot at by his infantry. We have Russian cav coming to support me. You know, these are very nice Russian cav. And as you can see in the center in the city, we have the French player bringing up his cavalry. Again, if you listen, you can hear about where his troops are going to be. And over here on this road, we finally had some sighting because of this excellent cav scouting. You can see the French forces here moving up. These are very good French forces. Well, I don't actually know much about the quality of the French forces, but these are 50-60. They're numbered. Usually the numbered units are generally a little bit better than the named units. Although that's not a hard, fast rule. That's true for the Americans, and it's also true for the British. So, of course, we have some units who can form a square moving up. The reason why they can form a square is important because it deters troops from cav targets. You can tell a unit a square by when you scroll over it. It's the little box right next to their name. So they're bringing France from 1779 France. They have 1806 France and 1811 France. They have all 3 of the eras of France in this battle. As you can see, right off the bat, we're going to have some cavalry, engaging going on right here. Charging them. I'm not quite sure what this Russian cav was doing. I get that it was scouting, but it seemed like it was in a bit of a vulnerable position. Now, of course, a building is actually being taken over here. My ally, the Russians, have decided to take that building. And we do have cav engagement, but sadly, again, troops can form square. That's important. They get, they have problems. So let's head over to my side. I do see his artillery, and I said, you know what? We got to get that artillery charge. But then I realized his infantry were going to swarm me, so I decided I had to get out of there, and I ran. Because I wanted to try and save
running,
them.
sir.
My troops are having trouble moving around, so I lose my cavalry here. Yes, it really sucks. So I try to go ahead and pull my other mounted guides out to try to. But then they get glitched out here. They get stuck because the enemy got just close enough to get in a melee range, and so this troop was able to move away. And then they just break. So now this is my whole army now. I'm just left with infantry, which is very unfortunate. So I decided, you know what, we got to push. While his cavalry's on this side, we gotta try and make a push here. In the center, however, this is where the battle's really going to start kicking off because we have the Russians, of course, with their excellent getting those good shots off, immediately opening fire on the French. Again, also my unit's still kind of pushing up, not really doing that. So we'll worry about my units later. Of course, we have the French units pushing in between the buildings here, kind of not really, a little too tight of a line, I think. France is going to return fire, they're going to respond. And of course we have the Russians here moving up behind the whole line, getting into position, getting ready to hold the line here. Again, the Russians are doing an excellent job. My ally just holding the line here. This is Tommy again, of course. Yep, and then taking on, I believe, 2 separate French. Just taking on the 1 French army for now. Over here on our left flank, as you can see, my ally has brought over some troops, the Prussians. You used to be able to see the names on these cards, but now you can't. It's a little annoying. That's one thing I'm a little upset about. As you can see over here, I'm just moving up forces. I'm thinking, hey, we gotta get into position. Bringing up our 4th foot, the New Brunswick troops, and the 100th foot Prince Regent zones. And then his cannon fires. And And I'm like, well, this is the time to choose. Do I make a push or not? And his gunfire is just short, and I'm like, okay, we gotta run. And then over here on this side, we have the Westphalen charging these Russian troops. And I remember at this point in the battle saying, hey, dude, I'm being rushed by, by Cav. And I had to tell him, sadly, I was like, hey, look, man, I don't have any more Cav. They're dead. But fortunately, I'd already sent over some, militia troops, as well as some English, defensibles and incorporate. They couldn't form square, though. My plan to just have them open fire and just take the brunt of it. So, as you can see, I was forming up, just marching. But he does decide to fall back. I got extra troops coming over here, the 7th Fusiliers and the 98th Foot. And then my units, oh, geez, the explosions. Really taking some good damage here. That 4th Foot really struggling, to do a lot of damage. So that's pretty rough. Again, just a standard line battle. These units moved over a little too close, I think. I think that you could easily have a Russian charge here. It would not at all be harmful to anyone, really, getting a little bit of experience. There's so many troops on the field. These battles are humongous. But as you can see on this side, which in my opinion actually had more of the more interesting action. Now we have the cavalry who are doing their thing. I'm pushing forward, just walking. Again, I learned my lesson from last time, not to run men. Except for these guys are running because I wanted to get them up to the battlefield. Reforming my lines, and then pushing forward. Getting a lot of movement here going on. Again, his cavalry is falling back towards the city. I thought, oh no, they're going to do a big flank, which would not be fun. From the French perspective, we have French forces all around. He's used to, this is something I didn't understand. He had French forces like, positioned behind and stuff, which isn't bad. But then this area was so open for the Austrians. I think this was bad strategy. Just very bad strategy. Now, this line here has an excellent spot. These units should be opening fire. You're supposed to fire at will, but I guess the cone of fire maybe is broken for these guys. Because they just weren't shooting. It's kind of weird. Maybe they were told to hold fire and my info is off. So over here, of course, with the British troops, he's got a good flank on me. And these troops aren't even shooting. Now they are. Good job. But see, only half, a little bit of a shot. And then we have the canister. Again, canister, it's doing some damage, but not really. Nothing significant. That's why I felt like I could push my units up. And then finally, these units moving into position. My British forces getting ready to open fire. It was pretty crazy. I was thinking, okay, we're going to have a good line battle here. I've got those Royal Marines. Royal Marines. These are awesome good. Taking a lot of shots. It was not nice. And then these troops having trouble firing. There we go. Getting some good shots now. Excellent, excellent. Moving forward. I'm saying, hell yeah. Fight. And then this area was struggling a bit. I do, of course, bring over my more troops over here. Gives cavalry falling back again in the city. It's getting a little more intense because we have Austrians pushing around on the side to go after these 40. Excellent volley of shots. Troops smoke is filling up the battlefield now. See, look at all this smoke. All the gunshots. Even Russians in the building opening fire. Check that out. How cool is that? We got Cav. Again, a good solid line defense here. And at this point, I realized, you know what? This isn't working out. I gotta get out of here. So I learned my lesson about charging, a good fortified position, and I'm booking it. And I'm running them. I'm getting out. So that's gonna be all that I'm doing for a while. Not much to look at over there. And then as you can see here, we have our Russians pushing, holding the line here, doing a good job. Opening fire. The French are, in fact, maintaining the ground, though. So not only the French aren't doing a good job. The Russians are, of course, moving away, kind of repositioning their forces. I think it was partly due to some cavalry. Either that or maybe they're waiting for more reinforcements from the Austrians. But we do have the first French unit breaking. This is the first unit to break in the battle, as far as I'm aware. So, good job, Austrians, getting the first official break in the game. The Austrians are, of course, holding their line here against the French. Shots. Are they going to open fire? Yeah. Excellent. Excellent. Good shooting, guys. Good shooting. And the Russians are kind of reforming their lines. They might have been swapping out men. Yeah, it looks like they were actually swapping out men. Getting some more fresh units.
Our men are coming for
really depleted. And then my units finally start breaking. So look at this. So Westphalen I think this was a mistake on this Westphalen's part, is that he, you know, he said my enemy, revenge. Yeah, he did break one of my units, but ultimately, I mean, look, 2 units lost, you know, maybe 10 units. He didn't move right away. He didn't come and chase me down, so I had time to move around. And now these units, who could form square, like, I didn't care what they were doing. I didn't care if Westphalen had cavalry over here, so I'm moving around. We even have Austria moving his cavalry around. And look at this excellent stuff here. Now the Russians are trying to get a good flank on the French. Now there are some French right there. So we're seeing a lot of good shots being fired. This main central town, you know, line is still being held by the French. And it's not even that the French are doing necessarily anything wrong. I just feel, for example, where is their general? Right? Where's the French general? He's over here. What's the general going to do over here? I mean, yeah, it's going to hold, but these troops aren't even in combat. Your main concern is this main battle line. It's ridiculous. Oh, we have an Austrian cavalry charge. The Austrian cavalry, you know, I'll admit, I've never played Austria. I don't really like Austria that much, but damn, their cavalry charges, it's so genius. They're breaking the Westphalen are breaking again. I'm just moving around here. Right now. And then look at this awesome breaking from the Austrians. A really good job. Over here, the Prussians, they're just falling back over this river. They decided they didn't want to fight the French. They wanted to stay connected, which is important to understand in Napoleon. You want to stay connected with your army and fight as one, your allies, not necessarily go running off. And now the Russians are doing an excellent job pushing forward here. Again, getting nice thick lines, that's going to help out their morale. And then this area getting fairly open. I think these units should have been pushing a little faster. That's one advice I would give. Also, not utilizing their units seems like a bad idea. I get that you want to have fresh troops, but you know, when you have an opportunity to swing around like this and flank, I say you do it right away. No reason to do that. See how I'm pulling all my men away. Now this is a part of the battle where it's going to get a little controversial. I don't know if the enemy ever sent a unit up to my 1-point building up here. I'm never going to know. At all. But just keep that in mind for later. So we have the 100th foot, you know, moving away. Again, he's firing shots, but if you look, okay, they're at 86. So some of them are getting pretty badly beaten. Most of my men over here, they're fine. They're doing just fine. The artillery is going to be a real nuisance, though, and it's a bit of a problem. I'm even moving my troops over to come and help the Russians. You know, because I realized, hey, you know, we gotta help our allies here. We gotta do a good job. So I'm moving over. The Russians here now flanking. Getting good flanking shots here. Excellent fighting from the Russians now. But then this side swipe of French forces are going to come and flank the French. Are they going to charge them? No. You know why? Because the French are smart and they know they don't charge Russians. Just shoot at them from point-blank range. But the Russians actually do a charge, making these French forces flank not actually all that useful. And instead the Russians are charging the French. One Russian unit is breaking the musketeers, but it's okay. Musketeers aren't meant for battle. Where are these guys? They're French grenadiers, so we have a good grenadier battle going on there. Getting pretty crazy. It's hard to see who's killing who shrubs, so I'm not going to worry too much about that. Instead, point out that the French are also getting this other unit. Chasseur, they seem like pretty strong units, because they are in fact breaking the Russians. The Russian, legendary Russian, you know, might is not holding up in melee, but the Austrians come in for a good capture. This was incredible. Oh yeah, there's a line battle continuing again. So then the Austrians moving in their forces, unable to form square with any of their men at all for the French. So then we see some more Russian grenadiers pushing into charge. So absolute chaos on the French side, you know, for the French. And then we have more Austrians pushing up over here, charging their troops. Excellently done. It's all chaos over here. The French are now breaking. Thanks to good Austrian cav and Russian grenadiers. Over here the Austrians still doing a good job. I don't know what the French were doing. I mean, look, you see how the Russians are able to get so many troops attacking this one unit of the 42nd from the French. Anyway, these grenadiers are continuing to push. Austrians are still doing some cleanup on that French troops. And an Austrian cav actually breaks, very sad. marching over my British forces. We got their, you know, Russian cav moving around through there. A lot of men, you know, again, we're marching. They're just walking, but on the road it looks like they're running. Very cool. And then, of course, all my men marching in column formation. I can't believe that these men, who were literally right up front there, they were right against the, up against the enemy lines. They were able to just move around. So I'm bailing, I'm running. You know, we're marching. Austrian cav running away. So I'm here and I'm ready to help aid the Russian side. Because I want to help. Because I decided, you know what? Westphalen, they're not important. Why would I bother committing my forces into a losing battle? Over here on this side, we're starting to see the evolutions of this battle right here, which is going to take place. And yes, I'm kind of spoiling. There's going to be a battle on this side. Ooh, it's going to be fun. But yeah, these guys are still setting up their formation. That's going to be a battle pretty soon. Again, a lot of the action being over here now. As you can see from this overhead view, we've got French forces opening fire on the Russians. And then over here, the French are trying to hold the line. And again, they're just falling back because the Russians have good angles. Here, using the buildings as cover, although not getting as many kills themselves. You see, they're doing a bit better. And I'm pushing up, you know, the militia. You know, all these guys are, you know, militia are fencibles. They're not really good for anti-cavalry. We've seen the French using them paramount, because we also know that there's a lot of cavalry over there, as well as Westphalen. But I decided, you know what, we can do it, and I brought over some actual, you know, more royal, more professional troops into this battle. And I'm moving over. I got everything. His cav is kind of securing the area. I see his troop. I can't see his troops quite yet, actually. Again, we're just marching. The battle's starting to slow down a little bit here, so to give you a nice kind of overhead look of the battlefield from our perspective, of course, because this is our battle. And now we push up the Austrians. Now here's the part where the big chunk of this line battle is about to take place. We have Austrians preparing to hold the line, but they're falling back. Are the Prussians going to do the same, or are they going to hold their ground right here? And yes, for those who might wonder, the French are in fact falling back. And the Russians, again, this is a mistake that I genuinely think is a worthy mistake, is the lack of initiative taken by the Russians. Maybe it's because we were communicating. We were talking about Westphalen, and I decided, oh shit, there's troops over here. So I end up turning my men around. And again, it's an organizational disaster, because Napoleon Total War is all about battle lines, forming the line. And here it is. This is going to be a really good line battle. So let's watch Prussian troops now opening fire. Get some good close-ups of these guys. And let's even go turn to the French and point out how the French are. I mean, look, we have 64th. These might be some Polish troops that the French had used, because you can see the brown hats are different. And then we have these guys over here, 48th. The French troops seem to be a little more gregarious. They're not all blue uniform. But you'll notice here, if you look, not all the troops have a good angle. Again, this is why angling is important. And it's something to point out. Over here, this is all flat. Everything's flat. I can, you know, it doesn't matter. You know, that's one nice thing about being on this side of the battlefield, which I kind of knew it. It's kind of why I picked this side, because it's all flat, so I can kind of ignore it and just pretend we were on, you know, the classic grassy flatlands from the original. And so I had this contingent of troops here just to hold. Again, I was waiting for the Russians to move up, but we were just kind of holding the line. I'm not quite sure why. But then, as you can see, this battle really kicking off now. Lots of smoke. I have to admit, the Prussian uniforms, I've never really been into Prussia, but they have very nice uniforms. I really do like them a lot. I think this is the way to do it. And you'll notice, see how twice now we decided we're just going to hold this. Lots of troops firing, smoke is everywhere. It's really good. Really excellent. But now, here's some cool stuff. French cavalry, the 30th Dragoons, moving in. And I have my troops, you know, they're getting ready. They're like, oh shit, you know, we have to war to fight. And I have these fencibles. These fencibles are not good in melee, but I decided to line them up to at least stall for the enemy. I knew they weren't going to last. I mean, they're fencibles. They're still fencibles, like from the original.
Our men are running, sir.
They're trash. I knew they were going to die. And then this unit right here of the United Kingdom Royal Fusiliers, these are guys who can form square. So with all this cavalry raining around, I decided we got to move up. I've tried to position my men in order to help open fire on the French. It didn't work. All these men up here, they cannot form square. None of them, or actually a couple can, actually, I lied. I re-shift and I form square on there, and then this square does an incredible job. See, this is why squares are so important. And he does, in fact, go for a charge here. Oh wait, no, I'm sorry, that's the Russians. That's the Russians falling back. This square here is an excellent job. Opening fire. Fun fact, when you're in a square, you have additional range. That's why these troops are able to get so many shots off on this French and Westphalen combo. And you'll notice over here we have troops marching around this side. So they're trying to get a flank on me. Fortunately, I have English troops right here ready to go. And then we notice, I'm talking to my Russian player and I'm like, hey, his cannons, there's only one that's been unlimbered. And I pointed out, I don't think he's paying attention because he was moving troops over here and such. So I decided to rush. Or, I don't rush, but I have him rush forward. And this is an incredible move. I didn't want to miss this. There's some other battle stuff going on. This is just genius. All right, he takes out one artillery. Boom, they're dead instantly. Then his cavalry runs over, and boom, this artillery is also now routing. And then he goes after their general, which is incredible. Now, funny enough, the general is actually going to live. I'm going to jump to another part of the battlefield, but essentially, it finally dies. But think about it. I didn't bring artillery, and he just lost his artillery. Therefore, I have a numerical advantage now of troops. I have extra troops. Anyway, back to this battle. Giant, epic, long line battle. Look at how long these lines are. It's incredible. This is where the heat of the battle is. Oh! Cannons are breaking through. We have some grenadiers opening fire on this flank with the Austrians. Austrians and Russians working together. This long French line. Most of it not doing anything. These French should have moved up. Again, lack of initiative here. Makes it easier for me to commentate on the battle, but again, in terms of strategy, I think much more being done. Even on this side over here, we have some forces that were flanking. So we have infantry looking up here from the Prussians, getting ready to open fire. We have cavalry, Prussian cav. They're actually doing quite a good job on these French, against these French forces, especially now with these musketeermen lining up, opening fire on those French forces. Very good. Not all of them being able to open fire, though, so a little bit of a shame. And look at this over here. We have more French forces, circling around my back lines. I have troops in a square formation. I kind of had to move away. And I was moving my troops over, getting ready to engage. These guys were falling back to keep combined with their troops. I formed square. And check out this excellent play.
Yes, sir.
This is why to prove that I know what I'm doing. So I get two troops in a square formation, and then they're both able to open fire. Yes, they do get a charge on the men, but really they have two squares to contend with. And then check out the routing path of the French forces. They're actually going to run right into this square, which I've strategically held down. I would never remove the square from this. So they're going to run right through this square. See, I was able to push my troops forward, and then immediately I get my men back and get ready to be lined up. They're not in range to open fire, so this was a completely valid movement to pushing my troops forward. As well as, oh god, the mouse is glitching. The mouse was glitching again. I apologize. I apologize greatly. Alright, and now we see that I've lined up my troops, really just to clear them out, and then this unit really needs to unsquare so the way they don't get friendly fire. I don't know who's charging, I hear people screaming. Might be a sound glitch. I think it's a sound glitch. Again, sorry, the mod's a little bit of a mod. Alright, so I'm falling back now, pulling my troops away, because I wanted to stall. Also, plus it makes it easier to commentate on the battle, look at that. Now we're opening fire. The battle continued. Another excellent hit, I'll give it to the French. They did have good artillery, just pounding away at these 1806 musketeer troops. They're very good. A little bit of a lack of gunfire, but these guys I love these. Look at these grenadiers. They look incredible. Yeah, excellent grenadier shots. Very well done. And look, you can see the French have fallen back from their position. Very nicely done. This is really the brunt of the battlefield. And I get the idea of trying to hold back troops in reserve, but that's not really the point. So over here on the French side, if you look, they're trying to advance slowly. They have a little bit more of a professional troops here. You can see the white uniforms. Then there's the blue. Just a good mix of troops. These units here, lots of French forces. And now you'll notice these French units, they got smart and actually moved out of the dang crevice right there. Moved out of the hill. So they're absolutely going to be able to get more shots fired. Again, look at this lack of initiative from the Russians. I don't know what they were doing, but they're finally now moving up their forces. They should have been moving a lot faster because they could easily get, you know, a flank on these French. But now that they're finally moving up, I still left my square behind just in case, and I'm moving to fill in the gaps. I'm like, I can take my time. I'm not in a rush. It's my job to hold the position. You know, why would I even bother not trying to? So I have troops on the side here. I have one troop positioned in the road itself, so that way they can't sneakily march troops. No, these are Quebec fencibles. They're actually really good troops. As you can see, we're about to have a full British line battle against these guys. Not quite yet, though. Not quite yet. Yeah, perfect timing. Lots of forces firing. Now the Prussians are taking a lot of damage here. That is not good. They're really getting hit by that artillery. But again, they have all these French troops here ready in case they attack. Those French artillery up on a hill are in an excellent position. Really excellent position here. Excellent fighting. Lots of good shots. All sides, you know, everyone's doing a good job. Let's go down the line and you can just see the battle.
All hope is lost. This battle is almost done.
Oh yeah, the balance of power glitches out in the game. But in any case, troops pushing, you know, Austrians coming to help fill in the gaps. And look, you'll see that the Prussians are stretching out the line, filling in the hole, getting more men to do their thing. Over here, you can see that he's bringing up his light infantry, the Jaegers, on their own to get some pot shots, not supported by his main army. I don't really know what the point was of this, because the range on skirmishers in this mod are not necessarily better. So I'm like, well, hell, I'll move up. I don't mind. I was perfectly happy to move up all my forces in a giant line. I think they are running just because I wanted to catch them quickly. Check this out. Unorganized troop. They're not really as professional. You'll see I am, of course, marching up these guys. And oh, what's this over here? You can see that the Prussians are moving up with their general. French forces now on the flank, trying to push around. And artillery shells now bombarding this area, which means that artillery would not be necessarily charged in the middle. Still, this line battle rages on. It's a pretty long line battle. Now, his Jaegers did manage to get back. You know, they fell back, but, you know, and overall he's falling back. So as you can see up here, we have horsemen running around, and troops moving all along the edge here, doing their best, you know, getting pretty extended. Again, stalemate here, just kind of moving up. The Russians still haven't really moved yet. They'll get their own little glory battle later. Now we have the Prussians here getting some good hits. You'll see that French units are not really great against pretty even war. Battle of attrition. This mod. Oh, but what's this? Cavalry charges. That's right, the cavalry of the Prussians are now moving up to engage the French cavalry and the French infantry. Massive cav battle going on in the center. French troops are breaking. You have support from the Prussian infantry. And this is just not looking good. The troops are being ordered to run away. 98, they could even form square, but they're not. They chose not to form square, instead to fall back. Not a very good choice as the French cav. But it's okay, because now the cav are loose. They're loose to go inflict havoc on the main line. And over on my side, we're finally going to be engaging in an awesome line battle over here with the Westphalen. Getting some revenge. Nice with the first volley off, which was nice. Very nice to have that first volley. Yeah. Not really doing a lot of kills though. I mean, that's how it goes. Of course, I'm keeping my general close, just like his general. Again, good battle. And now you can see all the French are breaking. We have the Prussians moving upward. And finally now, actually what's really nice is that the Russians are now moving up onto the side of the French, forcing this French player, the 1799 French player, is now, he's not complete, yeah. So 1799 France decided to move his forces over here to meet the Russians in battle.
Sir,
check this out.
Our general is under attack.
So my general's getting attacked, so I pull it back. We have so many more troops who are able to open fire on these guys. And then we're going to see some an example of excellent teamwork. Everything else that's happening pretty much is just like, oh look, there's a cap charge, but again, breaking. And the Russians over here, moving, actually they're just kind of holding the line. And Westphalen starts to split its army up. My chance to push up my army. I was a little slow, I'll admit. I did it a little bit slowly. Probably because I'm on the see good shots coming out. Opening fire quite well. Maybe they don't. They weren't in range. But now, check it out. An awesome Austrian cav charge. Their goons moving up. He decides to turn his attention. He goes ahead and attacks those cavalry. Just giving my units time to get into position, ready to open fire. But look at this. This one cavalry unit is just amazing. I don't know why, but I have really luck with my allies' cavalry. He's doing a good job. Because he is able to attack and mess up skirmishers and 2 cavalry units, which is amazing. So he's, of course, warming up, and I'm going to get in a position to take advantage of this. And then he just falls back and tell him, hey, get out of there. You don't need to be here. And now he's moving up. Or I'm moving up my men over here. Now what's interesting over here is that there's actually flanking French forces coming around, which is very exciting indeed. Because now there's cavalry moving around, getting ready to try and flank, get a good flank on us. And I'm just pushing forward, right? This is just going to be a chase scene essentially. Right? There's nothing but chasing. Again, Prussia and France still holding the line. The French are actually reforming their troops because, very important, the Russians are finally making a play. They're advancing on the flank. Thank goodness. Thank goodness. Getting ready to fight anyway. They're getting ready. Of course, as England, I'm still pushing up. I have troops firing at them. I did fail at my job a little bit here. I wasn't able to separate them, but that was okay. And then, awesomely, the Austrians come in again. The Austrians really were a big help on the cross, because I didn't bring any cavalry with me. I have some where out of infantry. That unit is now shattered. He's holding up the troops, and we're doing more damage to. He's breaking 2 more units, and I'm just like, well, yeah, I'm going to move up. Of course, I'm going to move up. We have these troops here. Excellent. I like the nice, snazzy white uniforms. Very nice indeed. Almost goes with the YouTube channel itself. And the Austrian cav, now they're getting surrounded. Now I'm their downfall. But of course, we have plenty of troops to open fire. So there's a little bit of a hill here. Okay. But I keep advancing. I'm going to keep advancing. You notice that some generals are under attack here. They're opening fire. We have, of course, we see the Prussians coming over here to defend against this French force. Very exciting. And the Russians are finally moving up now, getting ready to engage. And this is going to be a little nice. We got Fusiliers of the line. Getting those first volleys off. Counter French. Of course, on my side, we're still pushing forward. We have lots of infantry. Honestly, an overwhelming amount. I've routed 3 of his men now. push and push and push. And I'm doing this as pretty much as procedurally as possible. And then, now we look at the Russian battle.
We have killed their general, sir. Now they must break.
Oh, right. So I got a hot shot on their general. At my area. You don't even see it. I didn't know what it was like. I tried to charge his cavalry into Russians, but even though they were musketeers, it didn't work. And it's a square right here. Fine. So getting a lot of shots on this cavalry. And you're in a clumped up formation. So it's not even necessarily going to be the best, as well as morale being rough. Morale does come back. And the Russians have now moved up their troops. Finally, those green guys ready to open fire on those French. It is a minor uphill battle, so this should be a little bit of cause of concern. But again, wow, this French cav is actually doing a really good job running around there. We have these troops are now being forced to fall back, pulling the line. Cavalry tried to charge down the hill. Did not work out very well for them, not at all. And the line battle, now we can see that the French are finally breaking through either a lack of general or just lack of forces. And you can see here now the Russians are opening fire. The French have advanced a little bit. Getting some good shots off here. Yeah, look at those nice uniforms though, with their nice spiky hats. And you can see the Russians doing a good job flanking around. You're going to want to angle the troops a little bit, but other than that, they're doing a good job of just getting surrounded the French. These squares could probably deform though. Probably a square to be honest. And this cavalry is actually going to come after me. That's right, these troops. Now, most of them can form square though. If you look at them, a lot of them can form square. Hope I'm not going to do that, but pretty much most of my army can form square because they're England and they're not America. They're more professional. They know what they're doing. So now he's going to cross over. Eventually, he's going to try and get over to this building. That's the plan, right? It's 4 points. Remember, it's a points game. That's important to keep in mind. But I'm just trying to move up all my men as quick as I can. The Russians now getting a good encirclement. The French doing their best to hold. Again, the French knows what's up. He knows not to charge. But of course, that doesn't mean that, see, now he's fixing his line. Getting his troops ready. Oh man, but those Russian guns. Those Russian guns are doing a really good job here. And we can see the main line is now crumbling as the French forces start to fall. We have a nice little cav charge down the hill. Pretty even fight actually, but the French are losing their morale, as well as their shots of shooting across the river. This back line being held pretty well. Even Austria helping out. Austria was really like the big game changer in this. We even have a routing French general, which is always exciting. Very excellently done. Russians now starting to break. They have nice thick lines. Very good. Just like what I did over here, right? All of my lines are thick. They're strong. I even send over troops over the river to see if I can maybe spot some troops or shoot at them. And again, we have troops, moving over to come help Westphalen. I don't know how they snuck through, but either way, the Russians are doing an excellent job of encircling the French. They don't even need to do their famous charge. Now it would seem the time has come. They're moving upwards. Let's see, are they going to do a Russian charge or are they just get a better position here? Because they were at a disadvantage. Come out of it here. Just flag out. Yep, they're just moving for a better advantage. Want to get better shots on the enemy. Coordinate, drastic. Fire. Good shots from the Russians. Good shots. Are doing the best they can to hold. I don't think the French are gone. Fighting over here. We have some troops getting shot from the side by the Austrians. Not even all of them are necessarily firing, but that doesn't really matter. Over here it's a little bit more chaotic now. The French have cav that are pushing around, but the Austrians are in the square, being able to get some shots on the cavalry. This cavalry is not going to do much against that square. They really need to pull out because cavalry unit will not be able to make a square formation. As you can see, they're pushed on two fronts. They're actually being flanked a little, which is not the best. But fortunately, this French here is just getting squeezed, and then the Russians are charging. They're charging all over the place. I mean, you guys saw in that last game how good the Russians are in the melee, so you know that this is going to be pretty darn bad for the French. Pretty insane. Again, kind of doing cleanup now. This area being the most dramatic of all. Here on my side, if I go ahead and do the charge, I'm going to do a bayonet charge. Send it down. Check out this fire. If I even break this, good job here. Get these guys. I realize this is a choke point and we have to deal with it. We have to. So get into position. Plus, I'm happy to sacrifice one unit tonight. Now that it's broken, we're going to push forward. Again, I'm getting my shots in while I can. Pushing forward. And we pretty much won, guys, essentially. I mean, I moved over a fair amount of my troops in order to help out the, over here, clean up. I didn't realize at the time how I didn't need to do this, essentially. This was pretty much a waste. And this is my big mistake, I think, is that I didn't send these units up to this one pointer up here. You know, because I very much assist. Actually, they're not in this building. Why? Because we have routing units and we can see this. This unit is controlled by nobody. Like if I go over here, right? Wait. What if I go over here? Well, we have routing units over here, so, and since our routing units allow us to spot their routing units, that makes me assume anyway. You know. Well, maybe we can't. I don't know. It's a points thing. It's confusing. Anyway, I'm pushing up here. This is pretty much going to be the next most important part of the battle with my side. Which, I don't know. It's tough. It is a tough battle. Anyway, we're going to be pushing forward here. Getting a good march in. Just drinking some water real quick. Anyways, we're going to go ahead and march forward all of our troops onto this last objective. So, like, you know what? We just got to take it or contest it or something. Half my other army was still moving over. Again, biggest mistake I think I've ever made, splitting my army. You never split your army, Napoleon. And if I have the opportunity to play with these guys again, I will make sure not to mess it up like I did this time. The only reason you split your army is if your guys or allies are really desperate. This is totally unnecessary. Look at how many men I'm throwing away, essentially. You know. Oh yeah, see? Now that... Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah, they do have some units in there. I think this building should have been captured. Now you'll notice, we don't actually have any buildings captured. We haven't actually captured the 2-point building and the 4-point building yet. Because, well, essentially there's no one standing in the building to capture it. Anyway, I'm moving up. I don't need to run at all. There's 15 minutes left in the game. And I have, you know, good troops. It's not like the troops are in any way bad troops at all. Problem is, I had a lot of my royal and my, you know, my good units over here. You guys can do melee and all that stuff. So we're marching forward. Oh, look at this. Even the general here is taking out artillery pieces. But I think the Austrian general is about to die. At the general. How is the general not dead? I think it'll die though. You'll notice as I march over that there's some infantry here. And then my troops get ready to form up. Now no one's currently sitting in the building. He wants to get all the shots that he can. Makes sense. And I'm going a little slow here. Partly because I think I have enough time. I may as well move as one unit. I definitely outnumber him. My units are far superior because England has really good units. And then I realize this and I'm thinking to myself, okay, we gotta fall back. So I start marching back and he's marching towards me, but my units are faster, so they wouldn't be able to get away if they could. Talking to the guys and I'm like, hey, we need to capture some stuff. We need to capture some buildings. And then of course that one general died. What general was that actually? We lost more than one general? Oh, the Russian general died. Oh, that's a shame. So you'll see here, I'm gonna form up a line to block these units from really hurting me, as well as march these guys over. Just get some additional reinforcements. No reason to rush this. He's not getting in his building. Notice that this unit got out for some reason. Probably to take pot shots and open fire. The question is, if we do take that building, you would think that, it's weird. Nope. I'm not going to miss out on any gunshots. So we have some three British lines. Three British lines opening fire. This one line. Healthiest British troops. Not healthiest, but they allow me my money march back. They're doing an excellent job. Hurting the morale. Excellent job being done here. And we have more shots coming over here as they're attacking the artillery. The Prussians advancing. Not even surprised. Now the Russians are moving in, presumably to take that building. Presumably. You would think they would take the building. And then it was at that point that I actually realized after this unit routed, I decided, okay, let's head back. Let's head back. And then he comes back from routing. It's really annoying. The Austrians are all just sitting around. I'm finally moving up. This is going to be the biggest battle left to show you. The rest of it is ultimately just clean up. My forces. Oh god, mouse problems. Oh god. I'm an old mouse guy. 2009, when I first started making videos. My nice shiny mouse broke. How sad. Really sad. Anyway, so I'm gonna go ahead and march forward here onto the position. And before that happens, I'd just like to point out that there's some troops marching. They're going to go ahead and charge this unit. Oh yeah, wait a minute. If these troops die, Huh. Interesting. I'm going to ask you guys for a favor at the end of this episode. Again, because it's Napoleon. Alright. So again, I have 3 units, and I'm really making sure this guy's dead now. I'm like, okay, we gotta make sure it ends here. We haven't quite engaged yet here at this side. Marching up. For England. He gets the first volley, that's not surprising. And I'm ready. I realized I wasn't actually shooting. It's the building that's shooting at me. Give him extra range. My general's moving up, I have troops in the back. And still, I'm not really shooting. It's weird. His men were outranging me. I think because these were like special troops or whatever. I don't know. I don't know why he was outranging me. But I just had to keep moving forward. I was like, well, this is going to happen. Just advance. And again, I had overwhelming force here, so I was not in any way worried about something like that. These people still don't fire. Oh, everyone fired it. But yeah, as you can see, he's trying to make an arc here. Not necessarily going to work. All the way from over here. This is what makes Napoleon Total War, honestly. The hordes of troops opening fire. These guys weren't moving though. Still very sad. You can see where the smoke is coming from. Like these guys, the first. Yeah, these guys right here. Again, fighting these are just standard line infantry, right? Those are veterans. Variety of what is high is good battle. Now this will go on for a little bit of time. Now you'll notice again because we don't have the buildings. I decided to.
We have killed their general, sir. Now they must break.
I've decided to move my troops up in order to secure these buildings, just so you know that's what's going on over there. And as you can see, my reinforcements are finally moving over. More troops are going to be joining the battle. We've got our English incorporated militia, so just English civilians.
The
gonna
men
get
are
shot.
fatigued, sir, and must rest a while.
If they're gonna dump their bullets on the people who can't fight, can't shoot, that's fine. I mean, those guys, the ones that are currently being slaughtered, they're the guys who have been stuck on the weapons. They've seen a lot of combat. Yeah, these British troops. So, as you can see, we're routing more of their men. And pushing forward. Maybe not. See, even inside the house, we're still doing a good job. Again, we're trying to doing our best to hold them off. It's really hard to route them, even though they don't have the general. It's really hard. Yeah, the smoke is piling up everywhere now. See, my general can't go to all places at once, so I gotta choose where my general is going to be. Stacking his men up inside the fort is a good idea. And I realize that, you know, we're going to have to charge into this building. So we have to. No choice. And this is something I never understood. Because while these troops were running over, we never took this 1-point building.
Our men are
Like,
running,
why
sir.
wouldn't you take it? It seems like that's something I would do. Anyway, they're all marching up the road, trying to come help. And I get it. I get why, but in hindsight. Anyway, so I send the men in. We're actually kind of winning the fight. And I can see the rest of my men are just shooting. I don't really have that morale. And this is where the building stuff really gets a little fun. You know, heck, I even have extra troops marching in still. And eventually I get told, hey, you should just ban the charge. It's like, alright, cool, now let's okay, you should ban the charge, you just gotta get in the house, we're right out of time, we gotta get the people. I do route one unit, and when I'm inside the building, having all the men around is helping morale, the general being helping morale. I got a second unit to go.
Our men are running, sir.
One of my men starts to route, it's very unfortunate. Can't all fucked up now. It's hard to get in. So, you can see we have fresh troops moving up. Don't help out, I have guys circling around. Everyone's just doing their best to try and get in this house. Fantastic.
Our men are running, sir.
We just can't take this house. I don't know why. Look at the attrition. And again, I'm running my guys. Well, I think they're technically already in there. I don't know. Wow, like that. I thought they were. Trying to get in. And he is, you know, breaking stuff. We're breaking a lot too. It's very unfortunate. We just can't see that.
Our
Get a
unit
guy
is
in.
dead, sir.
We just seem to start to get in. See, it's tight now. I just keep putting on the pressure. And I bring in my general. This is a bad idea. I was trying to rally troops, trying to get them to have better morale in the fight. They did have, but it just wasn't working. My general was getting shot, so I ran away. The general ran away.
Our men are running, sir.
Then the general routes, which is good. Really hurts the morale of everyone. You know, and then just finally the Russians show up, but it's just like a couple seconds left. And that'll be the game. draw. Now, I mean, we clearly won that, like, objectively. I don't think there's any way you could look at that and say, oh, we lost. I don't think so. I think we won pretty obviously. But I think that what they did in order to make a draw happen is that what they did is they must have snuck, Westphalen must have snuck a unit up north to the one capture point that I had, which I'm not surprised by. It makes sense. That I kind of figured. And they must have also, the French on the other side, snuck one up. But if the Russians had simply put a unit inside of the house that, you know, they killed in the bottom corner, then we would have had the victory. I think that's what would have happened. So, you know, partly my fault, partly my allies' fault, everything otherwise, though, I'm still going to call it a win. And I had a lot of fun playing this game, guys, and I hopefully will get to play more of these games later. And as always, guys, thank you all for watching so much. I always value your support, and I'll see you guys next time.